You know, I can still remember getting my very first set of actor business cards. I was just out of college, living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, working as a carpenter, trying to get my career going, and I needed to do something to validate the fact that I was an actor, validate that to myself. So I thought getting some business cards would be a good way to do that. So I went down to the local print shop, filled out the information of what I wanted, and they printed up a couple hundred of these, cards, white cardstock with black lettering, Sean Pratt, actor. And it was great. It was a great feeling to see that card when I got it back from the printers. But unfortunately, like a lot of new actors, I made a couple of big mistakes about how I'd created the card. There was information that I had left off the card that I should have put on it, and there was also information that I should have taken off the card and not used. So I want to cover three things today. One is understanding the difference between a regular business card and an actor's business card. Secondly, I want to go through a checklist of things you might want to put on your business card, depending on what you're doing as a performer. And finally, I want to introduce you to a product I found that is a really handy little thing to have if you're out networking and you give someone your business card, but they don't have any of their business cards on them. Okay? So, let's get started. Now, before I get into the difference between a business card and an actor's business card, I wanted to give you a little history lesson. About 150 years ago in France, they created a thing called carte de visite, or visitor's card. And around this time, portrait photography had finally become affordable for the masses. So you could go to a photographer's studio and get your picture taken, and if you had a little extra money, you could have that portrait reproduced in miniature, right? So you could get however many copies you wanted, and then they glue the photograph to the back of the cardstock, and then you would either write or have printed your name on the back. And that way when you went to somebody's house, you would give that to the butler or the maid to introduce yourself. It was the visitor's card, carte de visite. And they were so wildly popular in Europe and in the United States, people actually used to collect them and fill scrapbooks with them to show who'd come to the house. This is what one looked like. This is from a movie I did about 10 years ago called Gods and Generals, and they had these made up for the film. But unfortunately, we never used them, which was a shame because they're pretty cool. But does it look familiar? The fundamental difference between a business card and an actor's business card is its function, right? Which gets back to a phrase from engineering, which is form follows function. If you understand the function of an object, then you can create the form of it that will best serve that function. The mistake I made with my first set of actor business cards was I didn't understand the function of an actor's business card. I'd made a card that would function as a contractor or a lawyer or a doctor, but not for an actor. You see, an actor's business card is a piece of advertising. And if it's a piece of advertising, it needs to do two things. It needs to show the product and then give me a quick description of what that product does, right? Think of any magazine ad. You know what I'm talking about. So, your photograph must be on your business card. You must reinforce that your face goes with this name, right? And then you need to add the appropriate information to help tell the person receiving it what it is you do as an actor, okay? So that's the fundamental difference between an actor's card and a regular business card. Form follows function. So let's go over the checklist of items that should or could possibly be on your card. I say could because depending on what you do specifically as a performer or what kind of other marketing materials you have, you might want to promote them on the card or not. Okay? The first one, of course, is your photograph. Now your photograph needs to be one of two things. It either needs to be a repetition of your headshot to help reinforce that image, or it needs to be some derivation of the marketing image you're trying to send out. Meaning, if you play, if you're a young actress and you play the young, innocent ingenue, and you don't want to use your headshot for your business card, the photo you pick still needs to say that in it. In other words, you can't have a photograph of you dressed in leather and fishnet stockings, if you know what I mean. It would send the wrong message. Okay? Next, of course, you want your name. Now, if you have a different name, a professional name that's different from your personal name, your professional name needs to go on the card. Then, of course, your contact information, your cell phone, if you have an office number, maybe a fax number. Some information you would never put on an actor's business card is your home phone number and your home mailing address. In this day of identity theft, giving out that kind of information on a regular basis is just asking for trouble, right? If they want to contact you, they can call your cell phone, or they can send you an email, which would be the next piece of information you'd want to add. But here's a word of caution about your email address, too. If you want me to take you seriously as an actor, don't have an email address like sassybritches@gmail.com or SeanWillBeFamousPratt@hotmail.com. Okay? Get an email address that's a derivation of your name. You know, mine is SeanPratt@Comcast.net. Okay? It's easy to remember. All right? You might want to put on the card your performer specialties. Are you a stunt woman? Are you an audio narrator? Are you a commercial model? You know, if you want to add those things on the card to let people know you do those kinds of things as well, put it on there. If you have a website, go ahead and put the address down. But here, once again, is a word of caution. Put the website address on there only if the website is short. In other words, if it's, you know, www.gusjohnson.biz, great, put it on there. But if it's one of those websites that you get through a casting office or a talent agency that's got a huge, long address, you're just wasting your time. No one's going to type that in. They're not going to take the time. So don't bother. Use that website for other promotional materials, all right? You might want to tell them about if you have a Facebook fan page or a MySpace page, or if you have an e-newsletter that you send out, you might mention that in the business card itself. Also, items upon request, like if you have an audio demo reel or a DVD reel, put that on there. Now, if you do a lot of, say, commercial modeling, you might want to go ahead and put some basic stats down, your height, your weight, your dress size, your shoe size, and so on. And finally, your union affiliations, if you have them. Are you Equity, SAG, AFTRA, and so on. And very quickly, I thought I'd show you a couple just quick examples of some photo business cards, and so you can get a feel for them. This is just an actor. I received this as a sample in the mail. There's Brian. And on the back, you can see it's got his talent agency and his stats and so on. It's a very straightforward card, right? And I would call that, you know, pretty much as you can see, it says here he's a stunt performer as well as an actor. He's an ACTRA and is in Equity. He's got a pager number down here and so on. And he has his website address. Now this one's a little different. I really like this one. This is from a stand-up comedian. And his name is Brian Vermeer, and this is his headshot. Get it? See the shot glass in his head? His headshot? I think that's pretty clever. But here's what I like about the back of his card, and I'll show it to you in a moment. He's listed his union affiliations, his website, his contact info. He also says, hey, join my email list so you can stay up to date with what I'm doing. And he tells you he's got a headshot and resume and a comedy reel upon request. And that's what it looks like on the back. But what I think is also really cool about this card is what it's made of. It's made of plastic. It's about the size and shape and weight of a credit card. And something that's really important, I think, about your business card is the quality of the card itself, the feel it has. Is it on shiny, nice paper or something really neat like this plastic? That says a statement about you to the person receiving it. It says that you've taken the time to do something, if you're going to, to make it a quality product. And this specific card comes from PocketHeadshots.com, if you'd like to go check out their website. So I wanted to share one final thing with you. This is a product I found on the web that I think is really wonderful. It's very clever, too. I'm sure you've been in a situation where you're at an audition or a networking event and you meet somebody that you want to trade cards with, and you give them your card, but they say, oh, God, I forgot my card. Here, give me yours and I'll contact you later with my information. And that never happens, right? So what do you do in that moment? Well, the people at Hold On Log have come up with this thing called No Card, No Problem. And you can find it on their website. You go to holdonlog.com. That's spelled HOLDONLOG.com. And when you go to their homepage, click on the Links tab. That'll take you to the links page. Scroll down the page till you get to the Documents icon. Click on that. And when you get to that page, scroll down to the bottom and you'll come to the spot for the download for No Card, No Problem. And it looks like this when you print it out. Right? This is on Avery paper. They tell you which kind to get. So you print it out. This is the front. And then this is the back. And then you tear it out and you have a stack of 10 cards to take with you. And it's got a spot on the back for the name, the title, the company, the phone number, the email address, and a comment spot. Now, in that moment when they say, oh, gee, I don't have my cards with me, you have a choice. You can give this to them to fill out, or you can fill it out yourself. Personally, I fill it out myself because I can read my own handwriting. And I get all their information down. And then under the comment section of the card, I might write, just finished producing this project, or is married to so-and-so, or works with this agency. And that way when I get back home and I put this information into my database, that'll help me jog my memory about that person. Okay? Now, before I wrap up the video, I want to give you a disclaimer. Okay? Anytime I mention a person or a company, a product or a service in any of my videos, I want you to know that I get no commission or kickback for promoting that product or service. Okay? I have either tried the product myself and I really like it and I think you should check it out, or I know the people personally and they're good people and they're offering a really good product and they're not just out to make a fast buck. And that's the people at Hold On Log. They're good people. They're performers out of Los Angeles who started a really good company to really help actors. All right? So I suggest you go check out their website. So that's it. So we've talked about the difference between a business card and an actor's business card, the short checklist of items that should or could go on the card itself, and finally we've talked about No Card, No Problem, which is a really clever thing and a really useful tool to have in your back pocket when you're out networking.